Welcome back. We're focusing on year-round cattle nutrition and the work of Purina in helping producers grow and care for their cattle in the most efficient ways possible. I'd like to begin our discussion talking first of all about the Purina All Seasons Cattle Nutrition Program. And I guess, Lance, tell us why it's so unique.
Well, you know, to start out, we would be remiss if we didn't mention our research facility and the amount of research that goes into the products and programs that we bring to the marketplace. We have a 1,200-acre research farm about 40 miles southwest of St. Louis that all of our products, all of our programs, the Purina All Seasons Cattle Nutrition Program was developed there, tested so that we feel confident coming out into some select environments around the United States and really get some field trials going. Once we're comfortable that it works in the field, then we can launch something nationwide. And when you look at that program specifically, you think about the convenience of it. There's, it's a self-fed program. We can put product out. There's several different forms of the product. Flexibility, again, we're using typically one program that covers all life stages of beef production. And you think about helping us be more efficient with forage digestibility, forage usage, that type of thing too. And then, when you look at Purina history, there's certainly the legacy piece involved. And, if we can help producers do a better job, be more efficient, then they can pass the legacy of their operation on to another generation.
So, Steve, how's the health and wellness of your cattle impacted by the nutrition program that you implement?
Well, if the nutritional needs aren't met of a calf, I don't care how many shots you give him or how much vaccine, it doesn't work properly. And since we started using the Purina feeds and we wean early or late, we have way less sickness, and even throughout the year, we used to have some pneumonia problems and we've seen that go away in the summertime when you have fluctuation in temperatures. We precondition sometimes if we wean early, we won't give shots till we bring the calves to the corral, but they go on the pre-con and we have very little sickness. So if they're fed right, they don't usually get sick.
Tony, let's talk performance. What performance advantages have you seen with the comprehensive nutrition program?
Well, starting with the cow, meeting her mineral supplementation right and everything, you're starting out with conception. And the whole time that cow is carrying that calf, the mineral nutrition, the protein, everything is affecting that fetus growing in her. Mm-hmm. And, starting from the very beginning of conception, will carry on through that calf's life stage throughout. And, we, since switching over to the AccuRation and weaning the calves, we start out with the AccuRation starter and move into the transition to the AccuRation grower. And we'll run those calves up to 650, 700 pounds and then send them onto the feedlot. And, we are slaughtering our steers at, anywhere from 12 to 14 months of age. So we are pushing those calves extremely well, and we're still meeting, we're running 90% plus on choice or better steer cattle. So,
Glenn, you get around a lot of herds. How have you seen Tony's cattle improve over time?
Well, the first thing I would always say is he and his father do a tremendous job of managing their herd, and they also do a tremendous job of putting genetics in place so that they can perform. But with those being given, I've seen the efficiency of gain in their operation improve with using products and programs out of the Purina Cattle All-Season Cattle Nutrition Program. I've seen them be able to continue to increase the size and scope of their operation because we've been able to take away some of the chore requirements and labor requirements that they've had in their operation previously, and been able to allow them to utilize some self-feeding technology to stretch their labor so that they can continue to either hold animal numbers together or increase them. And then we're seeing their cattle advance through the weaning stage healthier and at heavier weights and at more efficient performance, and ultimately get those steers, as Tony mentioned, to the feedlot quickly and efficiently so that they can have an opportunity to earn a living off of them and ultimately pass their operation down to the next generation.
Lance, what would you add about the changes in seasons relative to the nutritional programs that your other customers use?
Well, I think it goes back to the fact that we've got products, programs within the Purina All Seasons Cattle Nutrition Program that fit any given time period, and not all of those fit at exactly the same time. And not all of those fit in exactly every single operation the same way. So when you look at seasons, when you look at weather stress, you look at drought, you look at some of the environmental conditions, hay quality and quantity, that type of thing, we can fit a program to fit the needs of a cow-calf beef operation at any given time.
Glenn, you mentioned convenience early on, and I'd like you to expound on that. Why is convenience such an important factor as you think about nutritional decisions?
Well, Kevin, as I work with producers and work with folks in all segments of agriculture, it seems that we continue to have more draws on our time, more responsibility to try to cover with our time. And so to be able to take the investment of time to figure out solutions or go find stuff on your own can be very challenging, because there's so many draws from your professional side and your business as well as your family side. And so the convenience of having programs in place that you can put out for animals to consume on their own, that are available with a local dealer or cooperative to service, to make sure that that product is available, that's put out there adequately and in a way that the animals can get the benefit out of it. I think that's one of the real tremendous values that our Purina All Seasons Cattle Nutrition Program can bring to producers at this point in time.
Thanks again for the insights and information you all have provided. We really appreciate it. Now, if you want to learn more about Purina All Seasons Cattle Nutrition Program, visit the website purinamills.com/cattle. Welcome back. We've talked a little about Purina's new All Seasons Cattle Nutrition Program, and Lance, I'd ask you, why should producers be so confident in this All Seasons Cattle Nutrition Program?
Well, I alluded to it earlier, Kevin, and it starts with our research piece. And we research the products and programs thoroughly, get a comfort level on how they work on our own research facility. And then again, we'll take them out into select field research trials so that we can gain further confidence that they're going to work in the environment that they're designed to work in before they ever get launched nationwide. The other thing, I think, when you look at our pool of sales specialists across the United States, a lot of us are in the cattle business, and we understand how to feed these on our own operations so that our customers can have confidence that we really do understand how to manage that program.
And Glenn, what would you add to that?
Well, Kevin, I think with the Purina All Seasons Cattle Nutrition Program, one of the most important things that sales specialists and our dealers and cooperatives can convey is the confidence that a producer can have in those programs. And so in our local area, but also nationwide, one of the things that we really spend a lot of time on is demonstrating that on each producer's operation. So we utilize a program called Proofpays. And what that essentially is, Kevin, is the opportunity for producers at a local level to be able to try the Purina programs that have been recommended to them, and they can get hands-on experience with them while having the interaction with a dealer and also with a sales specialist to make sure that that's being implemented properly. That can be done in any life phase. It depends on what phase of cattle and what you're wanting to try as far as how many head of cattle might be involved, how long they might need to be on feed. But we commonly do Proofpays demonstrations on creep feeding, weaning calves or receiving calves, brood cows consuming mineral or supplement, bull development programs. There's a vast array. Almost anything you do in your operation, we can utilize a Proofpays demonstration. And the good thing is you have the opportunity to earn some incentive payment at the conclusion of conducting one of those Proofpays trials.
Tony, tell folks a little bit about your own personal experience with the Proofpays program.
Well, my initial introduction into this was Glenn had taken a group of us producers down to the research farm there outside of St. Louis, and that's what sparked my interest. The time, the commitment, the investment Purina has put into researching their product before I ever see it. I'm out here raising cattle. I'm not a nutritionist. They have spent the time, the investment to provide a feed that is totally balanced to meet the nutritional needs of the cattle. That's what got me started. And then Glenn told me about the Proofpays, and our first group of calves, we started on this. We done a weight trial and everything, and we weighed them the day we weaned them, gave them all their vaccinations, put them on the AccuRation starter, fed that for about 17 days, weighed them coming off of that, got our initial weight because we transitioned to the AccuRation grower. So that was one trial and then we started another on the grower. And done that, and it was amazing. Our calves were, the steer calves, when we sent them to the feedlot, basically at the same age, were averaging 100 to 150 pounds more than the previous year. Wow. Now granted, you're in a different environment, different weather, but that's significant. And we've been on it ever since and seen the same results.
Now, Lance, we haven't talked much about mineral programs, but I'd like you to expound a bit on that. How critical is a good mineral program? Well,
to me and to us at Purina and within the Purina All Seasons Cattle Mineral Program or Nutrition Program, mineral is really the cornerstone of that nutrition piece. Cattle need mineral every day. They need it in both macro and micro form. So by supplementing mineral on a daily basis, 365 days a year, we are meeting the needs of the cow and the calves as it relates to mineral requirements. The other thing is, you know, Steve talked about it earlier about certain areas where we don't quite get the mineral intake that we would like or desire based on forage conditions or ground conditions or water conditions and that type of thing. And when you look at our lineup of minerals, we have a laundry list of minerals available, and we can try and fit a specific mineral into an area where we maybe aren't getting quite the right intake that we would like to have.
So Glenn, what's one thing producers can do to beef up their mineral program?
I think, Kevin, the very most important thing they could do is they can make sure to put a mineral out in front of their cows that will be consistently and readily consumed. And so part of that ties into choosing the product. It also ties into choosing the form of it. So a lot of our producers, the majority of them use a loose, dry mineral, but in areas where you really struggle to get mineral intake, Kevin, one of the tools that we bring to the table is a cooked molasses-based mineral tub, so that we can get intake when we really struggle with it on a dry mineral. I've always told folks, in essence, getting cows to consume minerals, getting them to consume a rock, and that's not the most palatable thing they're going to be exposed to. So sometimes that can be a little bit luck and a little bit science. So if that's a challenge, we do have options. We have tools at our disposal to get that job done.
And I think that's what I'm taking away. Lots of great options that you bring to the table. Thanks so much for your insights.